Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beyond the Frame. My name's Jay Nephew, and we've got a great show today. With me, I have Product Manager for QubicaAMF, Mr. Chad Estes. Welcome, Chad.
Hi, Jay. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Now, I posted in our group the title of our the title of our show today is Time Bowling and Customer Expectations. And what I wanted to talk about with you specifically, since you are one of our product managers with development of new products and utilizing existing products, et cetera, is how the customer expectations have changed since this pandemic has come along, and then, how time bowling might help us. And I kind of want to go back to the start about this, because I think from a marketing perspective, I'm seeing many things happen in our industry, not just the bowling industry, but the marketing industry in general, but also the customer user interface, customer expectations, all that rolls into marketing at some point. And what I think I've seen is that we've had quite a dramatic shift in a relatively short amount of time in the way people are doing business, and largely because of the pandemic, right? We're not doing as much face-to-face business as we used to be able to do, and we've had to rely on technology and the internet to accomplish some of those tasks. So, Chad, talk to me about what you think has been happening with the customer expectations.
So with customer expectations in regards to the pandemic, we can go back to pre-pandemic, and we've been, as an industry, we've been making some of our more prominent members have been making a change towards time bowling and utilizing lanes differently. And in today's pandemic world, people want their space. And in many locales, a 24-lane center may be limited to 12 lanes at this point. You're having to skip every other lane during open play. It's making it tough to reserve and to utilize what's available. So we've encouraged time bowling for years with our Best X system and some of our other systems as well to utilize a lot of the games and a lot of the environments that are in play. But even in the pandemic world, being able to just plan better is a huge part of time bowling, and is helping out with planning in the pandemic times. So and if you walk in and somebody wants to bowl 2 games, those 2 games could take an hour and a half. But the same customer could come in and get an hour of bowling with a nice value and get exactly what they were looking for, exactly what they want, and they're in that time crunch. A lot of times when we think about time bowling, we feel like we're maybe rushing the customer out, but we try to portray it in a different light. It's more about creating value, adding value to the customer, adding value to the experience, but also adding value to the center itself. Utilize what you have and not overrunning the table. It's all about, it's similar to the restaurant, right? If I come in and if you and I go out to dinner and we spend 3 hours at the table, that restaurant's not making enough money on that table.
You're called a camper. That's what the servers call you. I got a camper on table 9.
And we have some bowlers that can be campers as well. So
absolutely.
Time bowling helps to remove that barrier, and as well it helps to plan ahead. I mean,
it does.
When space is limited and demand is high and supply is low, it's a great way to start to tighten things up.
Well, I'm going to say hi to a couple of people who got watching. Trey Autry, Oil Bowl in Longview, runs great facility, wonderful tournament director. Trey says, been bowling for a long time now. The new norm just makes it easier to explain and pin down reservation times. I'm sure no pun intended, Trey, for sure. Trey, you make a very good point there. So customers that want to come into play now, whether they're doing bowling or some other activity, they're very used to planning a schedule. We're going to go to XYZ place at this time. We've got an hour, 2 hours, an hour and a half. We're going to go see a movie that's, the previews and everything will be done by 9:30. We're used to planning our day by blocks of time. So this is no different for, bowling customers when they come to your facility. Allowing them to purchase by time and pushing the value proposition from it's $4 a game to it's $23 an hour. You can bowl up to as many games as you want in that hour with as many people on the lane as you'd like. You want to throw in a pizza and some soda. We can push the value proposition to the time package, increase your average ticket sale, and make the customer happier, all the while managing your business even more efficiently, I think.
Absolutely, and you bring up a good point when you start talking about movies and other things we do in life. Bowling just starts to fall into that same that same program and that same time structure. You know, today, there, like you said, there are people who will only show up to the movie once the previews are over. Even in the bowling world, there's people that will only show up to league once practice is over. You know,
Yeah, that's true too.
yeah, I used to have bowlers that would sit in the parking lot and wait. They came in, they bowled once a week. They were very happy to shoot 150, and it was their social nights. But they walked in the door when it was time to start. Everything that we do is based on time. I mean, even everyone has DVRs so that they can skip through the commercials because our time is too valuable to sit back and watch Jeopardy with the commercials in between. And so selling things on time and helping people to plan their time better is a great way to not only help your customers but help the center. And even going back and thinking about answering the phone in the bowling center, one of the strangest questions, but always a common question was, how long does a game take? Because people simply don't know.
They really don't. Right. And, you know, for years, it boggled my mind running centers for my whole entire life. In the year 2010, when a customer walks the door with 3 people and go, how long does a game take? I think to myself, well, how do you not know this? Is this the first time you've ever come bowling? Because I know I've seen you here before. But it's true. It's not the front of their mind. It's not what they, you know, we're so used to it. And the average person who comes 2 or 3 times a year, they don't remember. They don't care. So they need that information. One of the things I wanted to ask you, so if I'm just an owner operator sitting out here, what are the kinds of things I need to look for in a management system that's going to help me achieve my goals?
So with Concur Pro specifically, we have a reservation system that helps to visually block lanes out using a whiteboard, so that you're able to add in those dead lanes that you can't use right now in the COVID-19 era. And be able to visually see how many lanes you have available at any given time, whether it's for maintenance, for social distancing, for league play. At any given time, you can look up and see what's available. So it's a nice feature.
It reminds me of the old days when we used to do it in Excel on a sheet for every day, and we'd block out the leagues, and then that was the master one, and then we'd laminate it, and we'd have our vis-a-vis markers, and we'd write, you know, group here and group here, and you could look and go, oh yeah, I got lanes at 7:30, I've got 6 here, and you know, so the new way is all digital. It's all in front of you all the time, and it all hooks into your scoring system. So all the data you capture from your customer can be transferred easily without having to duplicate efforts of re-entering names, re-entering bumpers, things like that.
Right, and with Concur in general, anytime that we're looking at a new feature or we're developing on existing features, it's all about making sure that it's a seamless transaction, both for the customer as well as for the staff member. And so taking it straight from the reservation board into the lane itself, even having names and bumper status and things in the system ahead of time, and being able to open those up without having to go back and ask the customer the same question 2 or 3 times. You can even go as far as holding deposits, you know, putting in birthday photos, changing signature grids in BestX, choosing the environment. There's so many things that can be done from the whiteboard that can't be done from a 3-ring binder or the desk calendar, which, you know, I always had the nice big red book by the desk.
Oh, the red book. Yeah, that was the Bible. Oh my God, imagine if you lost your red book. Woo, boy. Don't misplace that. You'll watch 10 people fly to the center digging everywhere to find it. Yeah, that was always, and I always was amazed me because you could walk into any local center and the red book's sitting on the counter just for anybody to take if they wanted. They had no idea how valuable that book was, because chances are, if you were like we did, we had red books from 1974 back in the office in year order, so we could go back. Oh, you came 2 years ago? Let me pull that book out. Oh, I found you. Here's your info. You know, that was how we used to do it. But, you know, thank God we don't have to do it that way anymore.
Yeah, if you wanted to know what the customer paid the year before, that was the only way to.
That was the only way. Yep. That was so true. So true. The other thing I wanted to chat about with you, with the expectation of the customers, I believe that like when I go to a facility that I haven't been to, whether it be even a grocery store or a department store, I think I'm expecting to be treated differently now, pre or post COVID, or during COVID, shall we say. I expect that not everything's going to be the same as it was because of COVID and because of the new regulations that we have to follow. So I don't think it's unacceptable to our customers to walk in and expect to see something different, or expect to have a different system in place, or maybe there's other parameters that they didn't know about that they could either take advantage of or maybe have to follow, depending on, you know, what they are. And Dottie made a good point. Dottie San Martin's a guest. She's a a watcher today. She's being a lurker over here watching our show. But she said it's true. Plus, customers are seeing many changes these days. In fact, they actually are expecting that things will be different. And I agree with you, Dottie, because I, as a customer, walk in and I'm like, not expecting to do exactly as I've always done. I'm waiting for them to say, okay, we got to do this now. So if you're wanting to take on time bowling and add that to the menu of options that you have available for your bowling center, I think now is the perfect time to experiment with that. Maybe you only do it during your peak times, right? Maybe you only do it on weekends and evenings, and you leave your days alone and let people buy games if they choose to, but shift the value proposition to the time with the dollar amounts, and I think you're going to see some good results there.
Yeah, I agree, and Dottie, you're absolutely right. In the in this post-pandemic world, and sitting around and walking in everywhere you go and finding something different, it's the time to make that change. And in fact, some centers have been closed for 3 or 4 months at a time. If you're ever going to make a change to your pricing or your pricing structure, or try to introduce that new special, that new package, or that new model, today's the day to do it.
You know what? Go ahead. Sorry.
I used to always say when I was a trainer, we always used to talk about pricing, and we would come in, or the question always would come up about pricing, and especially when someone had just spent spent money and time on installing a new scoring system, and they would always ask, what should I do, and what would you do? And we would always talk about time bowling, but the one thing that I always tried to emphasize is you only have one opportunity to increase your price or change your price. You can always go down. It's really tough to go up.
It's really tough.
When you're making a new install, when you're doing something new, if you're installing pin spotters, if you're installing scoring, that's the time that you make an adjustment. And when you've been closed is another great opportunity to add those different things to your inventory.
True. Two of the best in the business, Dustin Russell said. Well, thank you, Dustin, for that compliment. We appreciate that. What I wanted to mention too, I lost my train of thought for just a quick second, and it'll come back to me. So I'll interject it later. The other benefit to adding the time play, oh yeah, this is what I was gonna say. I'm sorry, I forgot to silence my phone. The other benefit to time play is one of the drawbacks, I should say, that I experienced when I tried to implement time at one of my larger centers that I ran that was very traditional based was, the league bowlers would come in and go, I don't want to play for an hour. I just want my game price. And I would always say to them, yeah, no worries. League specials, $2 a game. How many you want? But that always was generally during the daytime, generally during the weekdays, generally before league. We'd have all kinds of weird specials on the Sunday morning from 9 to noon, that kind of stuff. So I say to customers who are worried about offending or putting off their league-based customers, game bowling is not going to go anywhere. You just may not promote that you're selling by the game anymore. Your regular customers will obviously know that that's an availability to them if they're a league player or a players club member at a certain level, and they could always request that. But for your walk-in customers and your average casual play customers, they're not going to know the difference. They're going to actually probably be better off with a time package, value, experience, all the other things that can happen there.
No, I agree. And you look at it today, if you have a price board up in your center and you have your list of prices of games and times and specials at the desk, there's probably one price that you don't have on there, and that is League Bowler.
Right.
The League Bowler discount is known, and it's something that you go over in league meetings every year when you talk about league benefits, but you're not putting that on your overhead monitor. So don't ever look at the league player as the one reason not to make a change like this. We have some examples of centers that are close to us that have made that transition even for their league play and have a league bowler price for running a lane. But at the same time, Conquer gives you the flexibility to have game, time, and unlimited play. So at any given point, you're not locked into time bowling. You can always make that change on the fly and sell someone 2 or 3 games if you need to.
Let me talk about those 3 modes of play: game, time, and unlimited. Not everybody thinks in that manner, right? We used to think it was all game. And then when time came, I can rent it to you by the hour. But now we have unlimited. And that is, for example, all you can bowl Saturday night or Sunday night from 8 to midnight. It's $12 a person. Some people run their glow bowl, their rock and bowl, their extreme bowl, whatever you want to call it. Some people run it that way. It's $15 a person, come in at 9, out by midnight. That's unlimited. So if you're not taking advantage of the unlimited type of play, I think you're doing yourself a little bit disservice, because what did we find out when we survey our customers? We go to the data. What do we like to make here? We like to make decisions based on data, not on emotional, because I'll make a bad emotional decision. I'll make a better data decision. You know, if you look and pull your game reports, you can actually figure out how much you're getting paid, average price per game for gameplay, league play, open play, time bowling, and unlimited bowling. Like, you can break it down by any of these categories. And the surprising truth comes out that most people say, well, when I give away unlimited bowling, I must only make, like, you know, $1 a game. They really don't know. But when you do the math on how many frames are bowled and what the customer paid, Chad, tell them what the average customer sees. Because you know this more than I do. I only know the overall arching story, but you can probably give them a little bit better idea about this.
Well, the average customer looks at the value proposition, and we talked about time bowling in general earlier, and you can pick any number you want depending on your area. Let's just pick a $50 for 2 hours.
Yeah.
For 4 people. It's just as someone still has to put $50 in the register. Now, you can split it up 4 ways if you want, but not all of our customers think that way. You look up on the screen and I see $50 on the screen. It seems like a lot. But if I look up on the screen and I see $15 per person for 2 hours, $15 is easy for me to swallow. Now, I just paid $10 more than what the actual price was for 2 hours.
Correct.
But it was broken down for me. And unlimited play kind of gives you that different way of selling it and different way of marketing it. You know, unlimited can be truly unlimited. It stays on and you bowl as much as you want until someone turns it off or the power goes out. Or, you know, number two, you know, you can have it set for a certain duration of time, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, all you can bowl, or until a certain time. It doesn't matter if you start at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. The time the lane cuts off at whatever time you specify. And Conquer is flexible to have all those things. You know, the average player still only plays 2 to 3 games. They come in, they bowl until they've had fun, they're tired, you know, they're on to something else. Your competitive guys would certainly take advantage of your competitive players would certainly take advantage of that 2-hour special to get in some extra games, and it would probably skew your numbers a little bit. But still, most of your casual players are coming in to bowl 1 or 2 games, have fun with their family and friends, and move on. So it depends on your market and depends on your area, but there's plenty of different ways you can utilize Conquer and throw the different models out there and have something for everyone.
I like that when we go into a marketplace, or we go into a center that has a bunch of data in their Conqueror system, and they're curious about the time play. And Dottie does the little conversion sheet she's made for them to figure it out. And you just pull the data, just pull the raw numbers from there, X number of time to X number of date, how many games were bowled, how much money did you get paid for it, how many frames were, that equals X number of dollars per game. The time bowling payment is always higher than the per game price, than the game time. If you open it up in game mode, you're guaranteed you're getting paid $4 a game, because that's what it is, $4 a game. We'll just pretend that's what it is. And you open up the time mode and you do all the math, and it's like $5.93 a game. And you're like, how is that possible? It's because people bowl slower. They don't mind taking their time. When your lane is on, you're getting the registers ringing, period. That's it. The other way, when your lane is on, you may be getting paid if they bowl quickly. But I've had people come to Rock and Bowl when we used to allow them to bowl by the game. They'd walk through the door with their friends. There's 4 of them. They go, we want 1 game. And I say, okay, because I got to give it to them. I'm not going to say you can't bowl 1 game. And they're there all night. And they're still in the 9th frame, you know? So those are the campers that and now that's obviously not happening all the time, but It's interesting that the mindset of the player shifts when they feel free to do whatever they want. They have a better experience overall. So how does the reservation system play into all of this?
So the reservation system is as flexible as you need it to be. And again, handles all of those different modes, game time and unlimited. But with time and unlimited, it's much easier to look at a glance and see what availability you have in your center at any given point. For centers that are really busy, you can even go as far as to reserve lanes ahead of time rather than having to run a waiting list and guessing. You know, the one thing I hate about a restaurant is when I can't call ahead and get a reservation but I walk in, you tell me I'm fifth on the list, it's going to be 30 minutes, and then 45 minutes later, I'm still walking around, looking for something to do.
Right.
It's frustrating, and it frustrates your customers. Some centers have a lot of larger arcades and bars and lounges, and there's lots to do, but not all centers do, and they don't have the space, even in the COVID-19 area, they don't have the space to house customers while they're waiting, and still be able to socially distance themselves from others. So the reservation system has two different feels to it. There's a local reservation system where I, as a front desk person, can take reservations on the phone or in person and plug them in and see what's there. Or we have a website as well. And the website allows customers to go onto your website, see what's available, see what you have available as far as packages go that can include food, can include add-ons or some of your other features in the center, even as far as adding a game of laser tag or whatever you may have in your facility. Paying for that up front, getting the money ahead of time, so you have a full deposit and not just a promise that someone's going to come.
Right.
Drops it right into the whiteboard, and so at any given point, you can look and see not only who you've taken a reservation for on the phone, but who is committed and paid their reservation online and is headed to your center.
Yeah, I love that. I love that a lot. Now, you said a good point. You said you go to your website. Yeah, I know a lot of proprietors who maybe are using a third-party provider for some reservations. They do a great job with their systems, and they don't always have the ability to make it look seamless, like it comes from their particular website. But our web reservation does allow you to customize branding and things of that nature, so that it is, to the customer, it's seamless, looks like they're still on your site and they're purchasing directly from you, rather than being kicked to a XYZ company and making the reservation that way. Might we see some differences in the near future? I'm putting you on the spot.
Leading me to a preview, I see. No, so Jay, you're right. The companies out there are a dime a dozen. I mean, you can name off as many as you want that do have reservation systems, whether they are tailored specifically for bowling or specifically for family entertainment centers or
food service even, right?
Yeah, just online reservation systems that are generic enough to work for bowling. The one advantage that QubicaAMF has over any of those different systems is that we plug it in seamlessly into the whiteboard and into Conqueror, so that at any given point, we're polling the live reservations in the center. We're polling the live inventory in the center that's even live if someone has walked in and given out a lane in the last 5 or 10 minutes. And we're never going to overbook, because if you set it up correctly, it's not the reservation is not being taken by a third party and sitting off in an email box somewhere waiting to be written in the red book, or put into a spreadsheet, or put into something
confirmed, whatever.
It's all flowing directly into our system. And today we've got our system out, and especially in this pandemic world, and hopefully post-pandemic world really soon, to help centers get back open, we have our web reservation system out there running, ready to go, ready to plug into your center and make it work for you. But in the next, I'm going to say 6 months. You put me on the spot, but I know the numbers, so I get to cheat. The next 6 months, we're going to have some really cool features coming out, and an all new and improved web reservation system that brings us up and adds tons of features that including complex birthday parties and different features and food and beverage and the works in your center that we can do seamlessly with a new modern look and look and feel, mobile friendly, the whole works. So we've got a lot of cool things coming when it comes to reservations, and a lot of it's there. The framework is there now to get started and be with us in the future.
Yeah, talk about customer expectations for that. You see the commercial where the mother is busy doing something and the daughter's on the couch, and she says to her daughter, "Oh, we got to take Fluffy to. I got to schedule grooming for Fluffy." And she goes, "I just don't know when we're going to do it." And she's busy doing something, and the daughter's like, she's like, she's like, "What about Thursday at 2?" And the mom's like, "Yeah, that'll work." She goes, "All done." And the mom turns to her, she goes, "What do you mean all done?" She goes, "Oh, it's booked, it's all set." That's what young people expect. They expect to pick up their phone. "Oh, you want to go bowling tonight, Chad?" And you say, yeah, sure. Okay, hold on. Let me see. What time? 7:30 good for you? Yeah. You want to bowl first or second? Okay, done. We're in. That's what it should be like for our customers. And that's what it can be like with a good reservation system that is married with your management system and your scoring system. So think about that, people. Think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here to make it simple, and we're here to help people make money, especially with web reservations. Help make money while you're closed. You know, no one else is answering your phone at 3 a.m., but someone can still book a lane. So
yeah, Dottie says, I thoroughly enjoyed seeing reservations come in, even when I wasn't in the center, since they were sent to my email. Now, I know Dottie pretty well. I know she has her phone next to her bed, and at 12:30 in the morning, when the ding went ding, she probably was like doing this, going, oh, we got a party booked for tomorrow, you know? But that's the beauty of it. You can you make that money at 3 in the morning, because people are planning then. You don't have to be available to them 24/7 personally. You have it all set up so they can, work in the fashion they want to work in, or book their events or schedule their days. So I appreciate that. Well, Chad, I think we're coming to the end of our time here today. Do you have anything more you want to add and tell our customers? Do you have any more juicy bits you want to divulge as a product manager?
I have lots of cool things that are coming up in the next year or so, and I can't sit here and give you any exciting.
I know I put you on the spot. It's my fault. I'm sorry.
But what I can say is you definitely want to stay tuned and be in the family. There's a lot of cool, exciting products that are going to help with buttoning up the consumer journey from booking to arrival to departure, and just complete the experience in the center. Make it easier for the guest, make it easier for the proprietor, make it easier for the guy or girl behind the counter. We've got a lot of cool things that you're not going to want to miss over the next.
And continue to make bowling amazing.
Absolutely.
Which is, that's the core being of our company. So I'd like to thank you, Chad, for joining us today on behalf of Chad, Estes, and myself, Jay Nephew, for QubicaAMF. Thanks for joining us. Now, Thursday on the show, I'm going to have Bob Klatt. Bob Klatt has written a book called Clatitude, and the subtitle is An Inspirational Guide to Striking a Positive Frame of Mind. So on Thursday at 3 o'clock, you need to join me here. We're going to have Bob live, and he's going to talk about his book and some of the real beautiful nuggets that are in here. And we're even going to give a signed copy away to one of our attendees. So you got to be on the show, on the viewership and comment and stuff. So thanks to our guests who join us on the side here, to Trey and John Duncan, and to Scott and everyone else, Scott Alexander. You have a great day. Until next show, we'll do our best to keep you in the right frame of mind. Thanks, Chad.
Thanks.